I've been having issues with UPS, and I came up with a solution for this issue. Alright y'all, so y'all know I've been having issues with UPS throwing my packages, going crazy. So I decided to go get some ice, get some water, get some crackers, and we're gonna leave them some snacks and water. Since it's probably hot, they're probably frustrated. Take one, snacks, ice, water. Thank you for your hard work.
Oh shit, UPS just pulled up.
Yes, I didn't get my package thrown today. Let's go.
Jamaica delivery.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just a reminder, we don't have to kill everybody just to get what we want. Everybody, welcome to the Tuesday live stream. So got a lot of things to go over. Let's just jump right into it. So first of all, the market seems to be doing quite positive today, which is quite a bit of a surprise considering there'd be so much volatility, but I'll take volatility as long as it's to the upside. And we can see that Bitcoin's up 3%. I know it just touched over 70,000. I want to say 70,200, somewhere around there, but it's up 3% in 24 hours. And if you have a market cap of 1.3 trillion, not easy to do. So looking pretty positive. Ethereum is up, Tether's Tether. BNB, Solana, XRP, watch out, 0.6%. Wow. Dogecoin, 12%. Cardano, 3%. That's pretty good. I mean, for Cardano, we'll take it. Chainlink and just down the line. So, you know, you look at this, you're like, well, that's great for our market. How's all the markets doing? Is there been some decoupling? No. S&P 500, actually that's the 6 month. Let's take a look at the 1 day. It's looking pretty good. So I always take a look at this. I'm like, okay, first of all, are the bots trading like crazy? Is there something going on behind the scenes, or does somebody know something? And if it's somebody that knows something, maybe it's Jim Cramer, because Jim Cramer came out today and he said, hey, look, the reason why the markets are doing this is because Harris is going to win. And he states here, CNBC's Jim Cramer said the session's moves reflect investors who feel Vice President Kamala Harris could win the presidency. I'm not sure the market's right about what a Harris presidency would mean for business, but at least now we have a blueprint for what Wall Street thinks it'll mean. I have no idea why he thinks that, but that's just Jim Cramer. And if you've ever followed Jim Cramer, there's a great X account called Inverse Jim Cramer. And essentially whatever he says, do the opposite of, and you actually do pretty well. So I don't know if that's what the case is. I have no idea. I'm just, I look at the markets, I'm like, hey, looking pretty good. And then if we take a look at, like, if we go away from Jim Cramer and all of his vast amount of knowledge, I'm not knocking the guy. That's Jim Cramer. We take a look at Polymarket right now, presidency. And this was actually much, much closer. Wow, 24 hours ago. And now here we have a 61-39 split. I would take a look also at the Senate split, because as we talked about before, I believe it's equally as important that we have a split for the Senate and the House of Representatives, which makes up Congress. Because remember, it's not just about the presidency. We do have 3 branches, you know, executive, judicial, parliamentary. So like when all these things come together, we'll see how it all works out. But as far as markets go, I think it's great that we have a really good, strong market today, and we're seeing some positive price action. I don't know who's going to win. I don't think anybody else does either. But I'm going to do something we shouldn't do, which is I'm going to zoom in. And as we always talk about, especially here in the markets themselves, when in doubt, zoom out. But for today, let's just zoom in to the last 3 presidential elections just quickly and get this over with. So November 6, 2012, I couldn't actually find this on CoinGecko. I had to go to 99 Bitcoins, or it has a historical Bitcoin price chart. And if we take a look at the events leading up to that, in October, Bitcoin was $11 and there we go. Bitcoin was $10. Wow, $10.35. Wouldn't that be great if we get there? Oh, that'd be awesome. But if we come into November 6th, it was $10, 55 cents. This sounds hilarious, but it's the truth. On election day, $10.76. What happened after that? Well, $10 to $14, $13, $14. That's big moves for those individual investors back then. And of course, it was off the races as we go into 2013. What about what about the one in 2016? So in 2016, November 8th, I mean, you can see that leading up to the events in July, Bitcoin was $655, and it took a big nosedive, and what people would consider like, soul-crushing Bitcoin price depreciation from $650 to just above $500. Awful, right? Awful. So if we go to November 8th, and this, of course, was when Trump won. November 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. It was 721. And then we had this massive, huge Bitcoin price dump down to $702. Hey, that's a lot of money back then. 721, 703. Oh my God. And then, of course, what happens? Well, we're off for the races again. And here we are, January 3rd, 2017, moving forward. But what about the last one, November 3rd? Again, doesn't this look familiar? Things are just kind of flat, a little bit of a drop off. Then we go to October and things start to rally a little bit. And we go to November 3rd, 13,989. And there was no drop off after that, actually. Actually, things did pretty well. And then what happens? Off of the races. So again, I don't know who's going to win. I don't know what's going to happen, but I can just tell you that for the last decade plus, everything seems to go like this. And there's also a couple of factors, geopolitical issues. Yes, I understand. And of course about, treasuries and is the Fed going to cut? Yes, they're going to cut. But even regardless of that, you still had in 2017, actually the Fed was actually increasing rates, not cutting rates. And we've been quantitative easing like forever. And we're going to continue to do that, which means money printing. Quantitative easing is just money printing. That's all it is. And that's what America is great at. So if you're worried about the market, what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there, sometimes you got to zoom in a little bit just to get the big picture. And then you want to zoom out and just say, okay, well, this is what's going to be. So that's where we're at right now. But there is some interesting similarities to not the 2020, but the 2016. Look at this. This is the Bitcoin monthly returns table. And everybody was freaking out. Remember when everybody said October? And then for like the first 2 weeks, didn't happen. And everybody was like, well, this is awful. This is the worst October of all time. Maybe we're going to go to zero. Or maybe we're going to see, well, that's not logical. Maybe we're just going to see like the worst October of the halving year we've ever seen. But look, finished up okay, 11%. Now November, we're a little bit, of course, it's only what, 6 days, 5 days. So I still see some more positive action. But let's go back 4 years to 2020. What I want you to notice is here. For every single one, or last, till 2016, of the halving years, October, November, December are pretty green. Look at October, 27% in 2020. In November, 42% and 48%. Would you be okay with that? And this is just Bitcoin monthly returns. I'm not even getting into altcoins. Altcoins are crazy. 2016, October, 14%, 6%, and 30%. And if we go back to 2012, which was, pretty early in the days, October was actually one of the very few red months. But then what happened November, December? So every single halving year, November, December are good. 13%, 7% in 2012. 2016, 6% and 30%. 2020, 42% and 48%. I will take this all day long. We'll see how it works out. But again, I don't think it is that big of a deal as far as price appreciation. Seems like things are lining up, but could be wrong. And then there is one thing we'll talk about as far as the elections, which is this. I think we should have a national election day. I was going around, had to go deal with a water bill here in Puerto Rico, and then actually was going to set up my license or another license. But when I went to all these different places here, right now in San Juan, I was also in Guaynabo this morning, everything's closed. And I had no idea this was going on. I asked the guy in the street, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Why is everything closed? He's like, it's election day. Don't you know that? I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah. Everything like shuts down and people get to go vote. He's like, so if you're looking for a bunch of people, just go to the voting places. I'm like, no kidding. That's a great thing. And we cannot, for some reason, get this done in America. I'm just saying, Puerto Rico's doing it right. So I just thought that was fascinating that Puerto Rico can get it right and the mainland just screws it up. But I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. And then lastly, before we get to a little Q&A, birds aren't real. So this is a joke. It's a joke that's been going on since 2018, and it's called "Birds Aren't Real." It's a conspiracy theory, and the theory is that drones are operated by the United States government to spy on American citizens. In 2018, journalist Rachel Roberts described "Birds Aren't Real" as a joke that thousands of people are in on. You know, this might actually be before that. I think it was in 2017. Yeah, it was 2017, and I'm talking about this morning with you, or this afternoon, I guess I should say, is because this is about a year and a half ago or so, I had this t-shirt on and I said, if it flies, it spies. And my son sent this to me because it was a big joke. And I thought he was losing his mind, but it was a great satire. I thought it was pretty funny. And somebody went along and made a meme coin out of it. And I was talking to some friends who are like, oh, you got to check this out. It's like, to me, this is the funniest thing. And I thought to myself, meme coins won't really do much, but if you're looking to get into something, I'm like, that would be a thing. So like, just so everybody knows, I bought some like around here, and now I'm down, of course, because that's what meme coins do. But I just thought I was like, what a great idea to get into like some type of like nationwide or global joke that some people know and some people don't know. Use it as a meme coin, and then have people gamble on it. So if you want to gamble on this one, I'm going to be following this. I think it's funny. And we'll see where it goes, but I'm already down. That's what meme coins do. Just a big gamble session. That's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. Now, let's get into a little Q&A, answer all your questions to the best of my abilities, and we'll go from there. So let's get pigeon coin. I know when I saw it, I was laughing. I had to laugh pretty hard because I'm like, I cannot believe they did that. But I was like, that's a pretty good joke to do. And then if you go to the website, I linked the website and the deck screener in the description. Just go to the website. You'll have a good laugh. Oh no, man, thank God. Thank God I didn't steal everything from Ben's channel and put it on here because he's in the comments. Ben, I hope you're ready for Thursday so we can talk about nothing but politics and religion. That'll be fun times. It'll be on Guy's channel, though. Danny, I was going to talk to you because I heard about the flooding in Spain. And I thought to myself, man, I haven't heard from Danny Garcia in quite a long time. I wonder if he's doing okay. So we'll see. Danny asked, did you buy today or waiting until the results? No, I mean, those things fire without me having to think about it. I go on Coinbase. Every day I buy Bitcoin. Every couple of days I buy certain altcoins. And every so many other days I buy some meme coins. So yeah, it went off today. I don't know if I hit it before or after. I have no idea. But no, I'm in it for the long haul. So it just happens. Bala, new member, welcome. I appreciate you. Wu says, didn't Beardy get scammed out of his pigeon coins? No, he got scammed out of like the best coin, the best platform ever, Bitcoin, unfortunately. So if you haven't watched that video, It's pretty important because it's a crazy what they're doing things with AI. And they're using people's voices that you know to actually call you and talk to you in real time with that person's voice. Crazy. Jeff says tomato coin returns. Yeah, tomato coin was one of my my genius ideas that I created as a joke, and I airdropped it to all my Cardano stakeholders from the DNU stake pool. And now I hear that there's like a tomato coin that's coming out on Ton Coin or on Ton on Telegram, which probably do millions of dollars. I should have done that. Should have just done that and just dumped on everybody. Would have been awesome. And then everybody would have hated me, and then I'd be like, well, too bad. And I just go away, and Zach XBT would probably investigate it. So Shane says it right. Regardless of who you support, please go vote. Please go vote. That's like, we shouldn't be fighting. Like, it's not like a fist fight, like, you know, some back alley bar. We should just, if you want to have your voice heard, go vote. Brad asks, Rob, do you own any MicroStrategy? I do. I bought some 2-3 months ago. I missed out on the big stuff, but it's done quite nicely in my portfolio. Seems to be doing pretty good. Go from there. I don't know if it's going to be continue to do that well, but I'll take it. Ed, what's the best background of all pictures? Any good info on FTX paybacks? None that I know of right now. I'm not even sure if how much they're doing as far as clawbacks, but as I understand it, correct me in the comment section, the people that have gotten their funds back from FTX are up between 40 and 50, not up, but they've reclaimed 40 to 50% of their cryptos. Unfortunately, they evaluated it at the time of like the lowest price. I want to say it was November 2022 of what the valuation, which is a real kick in the pants. Sorry. But now I don't know too much. I haven't heard too much about FTX. Mohammed, I can't wait to see this election and go away. Yeah, me too. It's funny. Rueri, are you still on the island of floating garbage? That was that joke from Tony Hinchcliffe for the Trump rally. Yeah, still here. Great place. I hope that as time goes on and you guys are looking to relocate, this would be like your #1 choice. And when you get here, I can introduce you to some great people, some great places, and it's awesome. Is there trash on the streets? Yes. There's trash on the streets of everywhere. I've never lived in a place that's 100% clean, but usually when you go to the beaches, I mean, it's pretty nice. And depending on where you go, it's a pretty good place. You're always going to find some bad places, but we couldn't have picked a better place, me and the wife. Taking notes. So you can vote in Puerto Rico. You can, but you're voting for local government, and you're also voting for the governor. So I can go vote, which I should be voting. Apparently there is a really anti-Act 60 individual who is like, I hate Act 60. We need to get rid of it. Sure. As a reminder, I still got to pay taxes. I still got to pay real estate tax. I still got to pay corporate tax here. I still got to donate, $10,000 every year to the places of my choice. I still have to hire people. So if you want to get rid of it, that's up to you. Great. Danny, thanks, I'll go for me. The family more than 200 dead. That's awful. Awful politics involved. Thanks for asking. Well, that's good, man. That's good to hear you're okay. Darren says, Rob, are you DCAing MicroStrategy? I'm really bad at this. And I'm using Robinhood. And what I should do is I should be DCAing MicroStrategy. I should set it up for, or at least value cost averaging, which if you don't know the difference, DCAing is just dollar cost averaging, where you can essentially put in like, I don't know how much you have, but you just say like, I'm going to put $10 into Bitcoin. I'm going to do that every day, or I'm going to do that every week, or I'm going to do $10 every month. Value cost averaging is saying, okay, I have $10,000 or I have $1,000. And instead of just doing one big lump sum, I'm going to take $250. And the first of the month, I'm going to put that into Bitcoin. And the next first of the month, I'll put in a Bitcoin, so on and so forth. So 4 months, that'll be the value cost averaging of your distinguished number that you have. Let's see. I booze to choose and buy memes to lose. Nothing wrong with that, especially the boozing part. Destructive says never given any details over the phone. Absolutely. Yeah, we're all sorry for Danny. That sucks. 200 people, countrymen dead. Duty voted for Rob. Well, that's a vote you can trust. Irrational says voting is a duty and a hard-won privilege. Absolutely. I think the least we could do is get out there and go to those centers and have our voices heard, right? If you really want to make a difference, that is the only way to do it. Now, you can talk to your friends and family. They can be like, yeah, sure, okay, great. They're not going to, you can try to sway them. Good luck. It really just comes down to what your personal opinion are and kind of go from there. And the thing about like trying to get to sway people's opinions on like elections is they'll tell you one thing and be like, they just do the opposite thing. They don't want to deal with you and what you're talking about. Same thing here with crypto. Like for most people, like when I try to like orange pill people, they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, bonds, savings account, 0.05% interest. I'm loaded. Sure. And now, of course, these days when people ask me like, hey, what's going on with that Bitcoin thing? You don't want to invest into it because you're not going to be able to handle it. That's pretty much what I say every single time. And the majority of people are like, okay, thank you. But then some people are like, oh, well, yes, I can. And I'm like, okay, you're my kind of guy. Let's talk. See, you got to put people to the grinder. If not, you're just wasting your breath. Yeah, Echo, same thing. You're getting emails with a little bit of half left in Celsius, same deal. But there is more processes going on for Celsius, so we could actually see more of our funds back. Now, Alex Mashinsky will be going to jail. That is, if I could put a number on it, 90% plus sure, and his trial starts next year. I want to say January. Follow Aaron Bennett. He will tell you what is up and what's happening. Anjoria, what's up? Not much. Just sitting back, watching the price appreciation action. Actually, what are we at? Are we at 70,000 yet? And we did it. Congratulations, everybody. We did 70,000. I want to thank everybody who came to the stream. That's the only way this happens, is if you like and subscribe to my channel. Just kidding. Puerto Rico's too humid. Yeah, maybe. But I mean, if you like I talked to Jason Appleton. You guys know him as Crypto Crow. And we were talking about Puerto Rico. He just didn't like it. He just didn't like the beaches. He's not that kind of guy. He's just like, I want a little bit a different lifestyle. And he took off. But me, I love the beaches, so go over that. I'm garbage. ASF. I love Tony too. I love that show, the Kill Tony show. Hilarious. Thanks, Biden. Rolling blackouts? Good question. That's true. So the thing is here, when you live in Puerto Rico, I don't care. I mean, wherever you live, usually, if you have rolling blackouts, not a big fan of like wind, but solar panels, I think, are a must here. And if not, at least a generator. Because when the power goes out, it's really nice when you can actually have electricity back. So we have a generator at this location, and then a house in Guaynabo, it's all solar panels with 2 inverters. That's major battery packs that store the electricity. And we can get away with 24 to 48 hours without electricity, for the most part. Or we just go to the beach, or we just go down to the street to the bar and just hang out there. Oh, sweet. RG says, Rob, been watching you since 2021. Had to use one of your videos to convince my wife and a few of my friends that I had Bitcoin on. Appreciate it. Well, thank you. I'm glad I could help. Birds aren't real is a true thing. Exactly. The thing with the birds aren't real part we just talked about is the joke. The joke is when you tell people that, you have to convince them that you're actually serious. And that's the joke. But once they figure it out, like, you were just kidding, then it's pretty funny. That's why I like that one. Like Ryan Shreddy. I'm averaging food. Speaking of food, I'm still on that to answer Mr. Fox's question. Yeah, I'm still fasting. This is day This is day 3. So I'll be fasting for another couple of days. See how it works out. And if the next question is why, it's because it's supposed to be good for you. I like D. What happened to our Spark airdrop, D head? I don't even know what we're talking about here. Put it in the comments. I don't know. What your portfolio depends on it? Yeah, maybe. Crypto Casey wasn't able to vote. It's on our LinkedIn. Huh. Does Crypto Casey live in Puerto Rico or she live in the States? Interesting. Yeah, Mikey says, been excited for this live. Good to see some green candles election day. Yeah, it is pretty nice, right? And we're doing pretty good. You know what's amazing to me? If you take a look at like the biggest gainers, which is if you go to CoinGecko, it'll tell you what the trending and largest gainers are. It's always, Peanut the Squirrel, of course. It's always altcoins, meme coins. But the problem is like which meme coins do I get into? Did you know that there is between 10 and 20,000 new meme coins being created on pump.fun on a daily basis? Daily. Let that sink in. So if you think like Solana is going to go away, it's not going to go away because people need that for the meme coins. And people still believe that there's going to be a meme coin super cycle. I don't think that's true, but I think just like we had in 2021 with NFTs, and just like we had in 2016, 17 with ICOs, we're going to have a big meme push because that's what people are pushing it. I don't make the rules. I just go with the rules that are being put out to me. And that's what I see going on. Am I going to invest heavily into meme coins? No, because that's crazy. Why don't I just go and play roulette at Las Vegas? Or just, double down on some one-armed bandits. It's all gambling. But am I going to say that you shouldn't gamble? No. That's what makes every place great. You can do whatever you want to do. Just a little bit of gambling is okay. A lot of gambling, usually not. Bob says, when am I going to start denominating in Satoshi or denominating assets in Satoshi so that the little guys like me will feel better when we buy? You know what I should do? And I think this would be a pretty good idea. Did you know, first of all, did you know I can put this in dark mode and not burn your retinas out? It's true. Also on CoinGecko, under currency, you can switch things over to Bitcoin, denominate things in Bitcoin, and you can see which ones are bleeding against Bitcoin on a 1 hour, 24 hour, 7 day, and 30 day. Did you know that as much as BNB has gone up over 30 days, in the dollar amount, it's still down 10% to Bitcoin. Solana is one of the few. Well, I shouldn't say one of the few, 2.7. Look at Dogecoin. This is why I hold Doge. You shouldn't sleep on Doge, I'm telling you. It's only been around for a decade, but everybody makes fun of it. It's up 41% against Bitcoin. What else is up? SWI is up 1.6%. Watch out. That's still pretty good. Wow. White Bitcoin, 48%. I have no idea what that is, but I probably should. And Jupiter is up 5%. KuCoin, that doesn't count. Athena, Staked Soul. Wow. Radium, 65%. Radium is also the one where, like, if you wanted to like do some kind of like trading with that thing I talked about with the Pigeon Tech, you would just use Radium, which is, I think you can go, click that button there. But yeah, but I did that, and look where I'm at. Whoops. I bought up here, and now I'm down here. So have fun gambling, everybody. Remy. That's true. Remy says, please don't encourage people to move to Puerto Rico. They will come and crowd this place like they did to Florida. I hear it's the same thing like in Austin. Like people are, when we went down there, I talked to some of the people, they were kind of ticked off that all the people from California were coming there and driving the price up. So if it happens in Austin, it definitely happened here too. Chris says, what about crime rate? relatively low. I mean, you're going to get like little things here and there. That's just how humans work. But as far as like, is it safer here than say like, I don't know, downtown Chicago? I have no idea. Or parts of New York, I think it's much safer. Can I leave everything like open, like they have those videos from Dubai? Probably not, but I don't trust anybody anyhow. So, but no, haven't had a problem. Burns aren't real on the internet, so it's legit. Absolutely echo. Hope everyone voted pro crypto. Yeah. Mashinsky stole our spark flare. Yeah. Well, Mashinsky stole a lot of stuff, but it wasn't just Mashinsky. It was a lot of people behind the scenes, like they were essentially making that a Ponzi scheme. And who'd have thunk it? Yeah. Seth, sorry. Just got wrecked yesterday. Seth, I'm sorry. I've been wrecked before. It happens, you know? And then, of course, well, it depends on if it happened. Like, it's one thing to get wrecked when you invest, because I felt like I got wrecked in 2017 and 2018. But all I had to do was just wait, because I was buying Bitcoin at 8,500 and 5,000 and whatever. So, and like Ethereum, I was buying like 300, 400, 500 bucks. But if you just wait on that side, it's okay. However, there's a difference between being wrecked that way and being wrecked as going, oh, I put everything in FTX, Voyager, Celsius, and BlockFi. That is a whole new level of getting screwed over, because that shouldn't have happened. And there's another way of getting wrecked, of getting into like meme coins and gambling, going, you know what? Bitcoin I know is safe. I know I'm going to make, small 2%, 5%, 10% gains, but I'm going to take all my Bitcoin and put it all into this altcoin or this meme coin, and then it just kind of gets rugged. There's different levels of getting screwed over and wrecked. That's for sure. Were you gambling a little? We're all gamblers. Rob, I've won in the US. RG fasting is very good for everyone. It is supposed to be good. I mean, you take a look at like the studies, 12 to 24 hours, human growth hormone, HGH goes up 25%. And then after 48 to 72 goes up 300%. And autophagy kind of breaks down all the other zombie cells or cells that are not worthwhile in your body. So yeah, sometimes it kind of sucks. Nothing worse than not eating food for 5 days. See you, Ed. Adios. I love dark mode. Yeah, and this is a good point from FinTech. I don't like Sol, but I have to have a bag in it. I'm going to guess you probably don't like Sol because you hear that statement, it's a VC coin. Or you hear the statement about inflation, or you hear the statement about, oh, it's down again, which I don't think it's been down for quite so many months. As compared to other cryptos, still not a great stance. I get it. But yeah, like for here, on some things, I'm not here to change the world. I'm here to change my bank account. So if the narrative is everything's moving forward in this, like we talked about with Solana and meme coins and everything else, have at it, man. Trump, that's it. What's your best pick for DPIN? World Mobile, also Helium, if you can kind of go that route, I suppose. Aether, which we did a deep dive video. It's an AI GPU play, which we did this like eight or 9 months ago on my second channel, Dan Degen. So definitely with that one. Minutes Network is also piggybacking and helping out with on World Mobile. And I'm sure there's a bunch of ones that I'm missing, but those are the ones that come to mind right now. You look at Jackal Protocol, I haven't. Better market with Trump, could be. Holy smokes, JJ says, it's taking me almost 2 hours to cast a vote. Blockchain fixed this. Yeah. Did you know that astronauts are able to vote in space? And the way they do that is encrypted messages that are sent to them, and they fill out the form, and it's sent back encrypted, and they cast a vote. I don't know if there's any, I would guess them in our space station, but I would guess there's some up there still, and they if they're Americans, they can actually still vote. So I thought I read this article and I thought to myself, well, if you're talking about encryption and being able to move things around, well, I know the great way to do that. It's just that, when they're doing those things, I'm sure NASA knows exactly who's up there. So it's not like it's going to be fraudulent, but whatever. Crime rates are much lower when you eliminate laws, or if certain agencies stop reporting. That's also a thing. Memes are the NFTs last cycle. I have to agree. Beardy's from the hood. Damn. In Austin, Californians moved there and brought their politics. I see the pros are doing the same in Florida. Also, they brought a lot of their money, because if you've ever seen the real estate and the cost of housing and just land itself in California, not all places, but a lot of the densely populated, you'll know that it's super pricey. So they can sell those and move to parts of Texas and pay a fraction of what they were paying before. Yep. You're welcome. And then Ed Revere is just, what he's talking about is, we do these videos every so often where I made a video in 2022 where I laid out how I'm going to and when I'm going to sell 50 to 80% of all my crypto. And I said, these are the indicators I'm looking at, and this is why I'm going to do it. I'm going to dollar cost average in. I'm going to actually get out, and then I'm going to step down from the channel, and I won't come back until the next bear market. So we do that in 2022, and every so often we do a watch along where I show the same information, but I answer everybody's questions. So for that one, I'm glad it worked out. What about Costa Rica? Jerry V. Hall lives there, seems to love it. I don't know what the laws are over there, especially for Americans if you are still on the hook. Because in America, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. On a lot of places that you move to, you're still going to be stuck for American taxes, even though if you work abroad, which is pretty crazy. Not every place. Yeah, you're right. Smart. Poly is BS. Poly market might be BS. I heard Costa Rica is beautiful. I've heard that same as well. For the first 3 days, the hardest. Yeah, the first 3 days for fasting pretty suck. But after that, boy, it's just delayed gratification. It's the same thing we do here in the crypto markets, right? We don't sell every single opportunity that we get. We hold on, and then we run everything up, and then we sell when we think the time is right, hopefully. And it feels much better just to wait. Same thing with fasting. You don't eat for 5 days, and any kind of food you get is like the best food of your life. Rob, what do you think the reason for Cardano not bouncing back is? Whatever. I'm not for sure, especially when we did that mini video on Bitcoin OS, or Bitcoin operating system, using Cardano as a layer 2 solution on top of Bitcoin. And I thought to myself, I'm like, well, that should kind of move things forward, but I'm not for sure. I will say this though. We brought Flappy Bird back on Telegram, and we're going to build the token on Toncoin. And one of the things about these different layer 1 solutions, or even layer 2 solutions, is we talk to a plethora of them. We talk to Solana, we talk to Base, we talk to Arbitrum, we talk to Polygon, we talk to Scale. And the reason why we went with Ton is just because it was just so easy to use, and it was very easy to implement, and also because of the distribution channel was pretty good. You have to understand that, you've got almost 950 million users per last count for Telegram. So of course we got a lot of users over there, right? It makes sense. Right now, I think we're teetering at like 500,000 daily active users for the Flappy Bird game. But when we did that, when we went there to talk to people, we could just tell you like, okay, this is not going to work because of our developers. They'd say like, we can try this, but it doesn't really work. And we could also, it was also about the amount of assistance that you would get and who was in your corner and who would actually work with you. And I can just tell you that some of them are the worst. They're like, they just suck. And I think that's the same thing. I hate to say this, but I think if, I'm not saying Cardano did this, but I'm just saying if you've got people who want to build on you, make sure that it's easy to use, make sure that it's super accessible. And even like this, maybe reach out to these people who are developing, if you know them, and say, hey, we want you to come here and we'll make it happen. And for whatever reason, and Charles Hoskinson has talked about this in his video where he said, we just dropped the ball on marketing. And also, as I hear, Haskell language is very difficult to implement. It's very stable and very safe. But that's what's going on. So if you look at those things, I can see why it's not really pumping. Yeah, change our bank account. Yeah, Echo says fasting before chemo makes it work better and you're able to tolerate it more. Yeah, there's a guy named Dr. Jeffrey Seafried, and he talks about the way that cancer is destroyed in your body, and cancer can only live for two things, glutamine and sugar. And if you can eliminate those two things, you can eliminate cancer essentially. If you ever get a chance, Dr. Seafried, Seyfried, and there's a lot of studies that take a look at chemo, radiation before and after for fasting, 2 to 3 days before, and then also 1 to 2 days after. It tends to knock out cancer cells much quicker, much faster with less side effects. Yes, this is a crypto channel. I don't know how I got on that topic. Let's see. Tomato coin? Yeah, it was a dumb idea. Tomato coin also. Who are you hoping wins? Me personally, I can't understand a thing that Harris stands for. I don't know where she's going. Like, I've heard the interviews. I know some people love her, but I listened to her and I'm like, what are you I don't know what she's talking about for all these things. And then people say, well, you can't vote for Trump because, he's just awful and democracy is going to fall apart. I'm like, are we going here? Because was there even a primary for Harris? Just saying, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'll let you run wild with that. Hey, Rob, risk ratings for tokens being built on Cerberus sidechain for Cardano is risk important for tokens, knowing memes or gambles. Oh, interesting. Ratings for tokens built on Cerberus sidechain for Cardano. Sidechain for Cardano. Also that Midnight project. I'd like to see what happens on. Did you watch any Joe Rogan this week? That's all I watched. It was interesting. Let's be honest, like the debates that are out there are like, to me, they're worthless because you only have like a certain time frame to box in your ideas and to respond to whatever the question actually is. But if you just have a free flow conversation, you can get a real good sense of what people are and who they are. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Bernie Sanders at all. But then when I listened to him on Joe Rogan, I'm like, I could see some of why he would say that. So, and then of course, this week you had, I don't know if it was this week. No, it was last week. You had Trump, JD Vance, and Elon Musk was on. I was like, gotta watch these. And it was fascinating. It just was. Especially JD Vance. I'd have a beer with that guy for sure. Crime rates are lower when everyone's carrying a gun. That's also true. That's why you gotta love Texas. Let's see. Esquire. Elon forced them to move to Austin. Also true. Well, if you want to keep your job, but California was kind of falling apart. Not that the whole thing's falling apart. There's great places, but yeah. Do you think Kamala has a chance? There's always chances. And there's a guy, and he's always talking about, I forgot his name, it escapes me. Help me in the comment section. But he talks about these 13 keys, and he's never been wrong since like 1980. And he predicted Harris to win, so we'll see. But then other people predict this and that, but we'll find out. Nobody's 100% fat. Nobody's 100% perfect. Virtual investor. I do intermittent fasting and do some longer fast. The most recent studies show diminishing effect after 34 hours. Does it become negative to your body? The big thing it becomes negative to your body is muscle loss. So as you get older, like myself, maybe some of you will find out, even intermittent fasting, Dr. Attila, he talks about this too, that he just stopped it because there's muscle wasting. And as you get older, there's like a percentage drop off of muscle. And of course, when your muscle goes down, your metabolism slows down. So it's more important to keep muscle. True. What if I swap my crypto to USDC instead of selling? That's still a taxable event, depending on where you live. So I don't know where you're at personally, but here in the States, whenever you're moving it from one asset to another asset, essentially that is a taxable event. So let's say you bought Bitcoin at 10,000, goes to 20,000, you sell it. Or excuse me, you transfer it into USDC. So you're transferring those gains into a stable coin, and the IRS looks at that and says, you owe us money. So that's how it goes. Now the hard way. Digital asset. GGN says Cardano's a sleeper. I agree. Look at previous cycles. It lags, eventually rips hard. Haskell isn't hard. It's just not the most popular, but safer. Cancer does not like ketones. Also true. And of course, as you go through that, if you can keep yourself in ketosis, it works out pretty well. A says, is that a doctor or a doctor? No, he graduated from Yale, and he's not a medical doctor, but he is a research doctor. So he can't give you any advice on what to do. Seyfried, Seyfried. Crypto channel, a bunch of nurses. Sugar is my main food group. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's the main food group for America. And that's why we have one of the highest levels of obesity. We do two things. We do three things well. Stockpile guns, print money, and get fat. That's what America's good for. Trump derangement syndrome. If you're a holder of resident, a crypto investor, maybe. I hate the food industry. What debates? Yep, I also saw that one too. New study showing ivermectin reduces cancer cells. Something to do with the telomeres shortening and something. Food industry is a complete scam. That's why I'm a big believer in RFK Jr., and I think he's going to do what he says he does, make America healthy again. I can get behind that. Have you ever looked at the ingredients of your food? I don't know where you guys are at, but if you're in anywhere outside the United States, and I've been to Europe, I ate like a pig in Europe, and I lost weight. I don't know how the hell that happened. But then I came here, and I do my little fasting here like that, and I can just maintain it. I think it's because of the ingredients and the stuff that's in there. High fructose corn syrup and seed oils are not your friends, especially the high fructose corn syrup. Lichtman, that's the guy. That's the guy. Alan Lichtman is the one that's predicting Harris, and he predicted Trump. No. He predicted Trump in 2016 when nobody thought that was going to happen. He predicted Biden. Actually, he's predicted all of them since 1980. Alan Lichtman. True. Thank you, everybody. Please hit like. Just stop getting older. Also, hyperbaric oxygen therapy. 60 straight days, 60 minutes a day. The real ones. You can swap to Tamara and lose it in a boating accident. It's only taxable once. True. However, I don't know if you guys saw that there was a post about how the Japanese intelligence or Japanese crime fighting division, they were actually able to track Monero. I don't know how they did it. That's what it stated. So, but they never got an answer as how they did it. Obviously, I wouldn't tell you either if I figured that out. Yeah, FinTech TV says Roger C. Howard Lutnick on Anthony Pompliano's channel, CEO of Fitzgerald, one of NYCB. Well worth a watch. He's big on Bitcoin. I did see part of that. It looked pretty good. There's so much bullish news out there. I don't know if you guys have seen like the endowments and also the retirement accounts, and not just here in the States, but across the pond. A lot of people are allocating to that. And then also, I believe it's this week, Microsoft has it on their ballot to vote if they are going to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. All they have to do is look at MicroStrategy and say, okay, well, they do 1/10 of the revenue that we do, maybe 1/20th. And they've essentially 4x'd in a 1-year time frame just because they put Bitcoin on their balance sheet and held that Bitcoin. To me, I think to myself, I'm like, why aren't more businesses doing this? And it's not like they have to put in like 50%, put a small amount, and then let the price appreciate. If you're there for your stockholders, I don't see why you wouldn't do that. It just makes no sense to me. I can see why some investment funds wouldn't do that, because they did that last cycle. Unfortunately, what they did is they used Celsius as some of their custodians and to buy these different assets. If they just would have bought and held Bitcoin and say used whatever custodian service was back there at that time, or just use Coinbase, which you can do that now. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. All these sugar comments. Everyone's a diabetic. No, it's because I went off the rails for a second. Oh, my sister is a food chemist professor. Excellent. No seed oils, out of perm, the grocery store is the healthiest. Yeah, there's a very simple thing. I mean, all the processed food right in the middle. Just if there's an old adage, just stick to the outside, which is the fruits and vegetables and the meats and then dairy, and just stay away from the frozen stuff. So they say. I don't know. Alan Leckman didn't predict how obvious his wig is. I think it's his real hair. Could be. Cooking on coffee. Yeah. I would agree here with Kurt. American sausage is banned in Germany because it doesn't contain enough meat. That is sad. That is sad. Irrational says Lichtman predicted Gore in 2000, and Clarence Thomas gave the win to Bush. Yeah, that was the one. That's true, because he defends it by saying, well, if it wasn't for these hanging chads in Florida, which is, if you don't remember the story, the ballots that came in Florida, you would punch them, which was dumb, but that's just how they did it. I don't know if they still do that, but you would punch the person that you wanted to be president, who your senator was, who your House of Representatives rep was. And when people punched it, there would be like a little hanging piece of the paper. They'd say, oh, well, it didn't totally go through, so we have to debate that, and we had to send it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that's stupid, and went for Bush. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's big time. The only thing you need to add to coffee is more coffee. True. I'm a big believer in that. Also good for dementia. Diabetes, scope, smash it. Hey, Matt, man. Hey, Tesla. How are you? Saul says, do you think Binance will list Blub? I sure hope so, because I have that in my portfolio, which we just did a video on how to buy Blub and also how to buy Dog Go to the Moon, which is the #1 meme coin on Bitcoin. I know people say, Rob, why do you even talk about meme coins? It's because deep down, we're all gamblers. And I think most of us can agree there. And if we weren't gamblers, we wouldn't be here. We'd be in treasuries or some boring stuff. So like for me, I just look, I'm like, okay, well, how much should I put in here? You know, maybe like 2%, 5%. It's pretty high. Of my portfolio? Sure, why not? Do that, see what happens. So like with Dog Go to the Moon, I like Bitcoin and I like things being built on Bitcoin. And that's why I've become a little more bullish on Cardano, because of that fact, because they're being used as a layer 2. But if you have a meme coin on Bitcoin, and even Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy is in agreement with ordinals. We talked about this many times. So if you have something like that and it's behind you, you're looking for meme coins and this is doing pretty good, I don't see why you wouldn't have it in your portfolio just a little bit. I remember all that too. Andrew says, Lichtman predicted Gore correctly. Bush and Jeb just stole it. Jeb Bush, of course, I believe he was the senator at that point for Florida. Yeah, 3 cups of coffee a day. Nothing wrong with that. Again, the Blub. If you don't know what the Blub is, it is a meme coin on Sui. If you don't know what Sui is, go watch a ton of videos from Guy from Coin Bureau. They do a fantastic job, way better than I can do it. Bob memes easy. Billy Bob says, I don't F with memes. That's for degens. I have to agree. Stick to bread and butter, which would be the Bitcoins and maybe the top alts. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and Steve's, it's a bummer living in New York, can't buy many coins. That is because of the people that are in charge, unfortunately. And yeah, big problems over there. I think you still have Coinbase. I'm not for sure if you have Kraken or even Gemini. I don't even know if Gemini is even available to you these days. Ah, did not know that. A says, SWI is still stuck at 108 validators. 108 validators for months now. Not a single one has been added despite the increase in volume. Hey, look, SWI, if you're listening, DMs are open. I will definitely become a validator for you guys. Just let me know how that works. And as long as I don't have to spend like millions of dollars, me and my team will do it. So that's it. I use Gemini. Oh, okay. Gemini is available. I'm going to leave it here. The 2000 election is why I started paying closer attention to U.S. politics. And Bitcoin is the reason why I paid more attention to economics. Because some of the times you have to get into different things and have a greater understanding to pick the right crypto token individual. And that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. Tomorrow is a new day, and we'll see what happens with the president. And I don't know. I will just say like this, and I'll probably say this again, is that whoever gets picked, I will support that person because that's how democracy works. And as time goes on, I will be also harping on that person, whoever it is, when they screw up, and they will screw up. So it's not just over. Hopefully things work out. Hopefully we don't go through riots tomorrow. We'll see. Thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate you. Again, I see massive volatility coming in, so just be prepared. That's it for today. See you guys in the next one. Adios.